At the beginning of this film, we are introduced to a businessman named Min-ho, who has recently been released from jail for the murder of his girlfriend, Kim. As soon as he gets out of jail, Min-ho calls his lawyer to discuss the case. The lawyer needs all the details to fight the case. She asks Min-ho what happened in the hotel that day, how Kim died, and how he was blamed. Who called the police? Tell me everything in detail, she insists. The story then shifts into a flashback as Min-ho begins answering these questions. It is revealed that on the day Kim was murdered, Min-ho had gone to a hotel to meet her. He explains that while they were talking, he suddenly noticed the police outside the hotel. He panicked and wanted to escape, but before he could leave, a man appeared and attacked him on the head, knocking him unconscious. When Min-ho regained consciousness, Kim was no longer in the room. He went to the washroom and found her lifeless body lying there. Before he could comprehend what was happening, the police entered the room and arrested him, assuming he was the killer. The scene shifts back to the present. The lawyer, speaking to Min-ho, says, "You're not telling me the whole truth, Min-ho. I've seen the police file and all the investigation reports. There was no sign of a third person in that room. Please tell me the truth. I need to know everything you're hiding." Min-ho remains silent for a long time. The lawyer then shows him a picture of a boy and asks, "Do you know this boy? He disappeared a few days ago." Min-ho had previously denied recognizing him, but when the lawyer insists, he finally begins revealing the story of this boy. The story flashes back to another time, showing that a few months ago, Min-ho was on his way to meet his girlfriend, Kim. Min-ho was married and had started regretting his affair with Kim. Feeling guilty, he told her that he would soon end their relationship. Kim, who was driving at the time, was angered by his words and momentarily lost focus on the road. She failed to notice an oncoming car. Just before a collision, Kim swerved quickly, narrowly avoiding an accident. However, the car in front of her wasn't as fortunate and crashed. Kim and Min-ho rushed out to check, only to find that the driver of the other car had died. The boy in the car was none other than the one in the picture the lawyer had shown Min-ho. His name was Han. Min-ho admits that he was terrified upon witnessing Han's death. He was about to call the police, but Kim stopped him, arguing that since no one had seen them, involving the authorities would only ruin their reputations. She insisted they dispose of Han's body and quietly leave. Just as they were about to move the body, a police car arrived. Min-ho panicked again, but Kim remained composed. When the police inquired about the situation, Kim effortlessly lied, saying that it was just a minor accident between her and Min-ho and that they had already resolved the matter. To support her lie, Kim pretended that Min-ho's car was the one involved in the accident. She even called her car insurance company in front of the police, making her story appear credible. The officers, seeing no reason to suspect foul play, left. Once they were gone, Kim told Min-ho, "You wanted our relationship to end, right? From today, it's over. What happened here will remain a secret between us, just like our relationship was." She then instructed Min-ho to take Han's car and leave. Min-ho followed her orders, while Kim returned to her own car. However, due to the accident, her car wouldn't start. Fortunately, an old man passing by stopped to help and asked if she needed assistance. Kim told him about the accident and that her car wouldn't start. The old man offered to take her to his nearby house to fix the car. Kim agreed, and he towed the car to his home. After hours of work, he successfully repaired the vehicle. Before leaving, Kim noticed a picture in the house and was shocked. It was Han, the boy she had accidentally killed. Realizing that Han was the old man's son, Kim was filled with guilt. The old man spoke fondly of his son, wondering why he hadn't come home yet. He kept calling Han's phone, but there was no answer. Suddenly, Han's phone, which Kim had in her possession, started ringing. Panicked, she quickly placed it on the sofa. The old man assumed his son had simply left his phone at home, allowing Kim to leave without suspicion. After the accident, Min-ho tried to move on by focusing on his wife, family, and business. His business grew rapidly, and he distanced himself from the past. One day, a police officer visited Min-ho's office, asking if he had witnessed an accident on the highway the day he traveled. The officer urged him to provide any information that could help the case. But Min-ho, still hiding the truth, denied knowing anything about it. However, the police officer also gave him his card, instructing him to inform them if he remembered anything about the accident or discovered any new details. A few days later, Min-ho was seen having dinner with his wife when the news about the same accident started airing. The news broadcast included a sketch of a woman, which was none other than Kim. The police announced that Kim was responsible for the accident and that they were actively searching for her. Han's father had informed the police that Kim had met him on the accident site. Since Kim had no known address, all suspicions pointed toward her. Meanwhile, Kim called Min-ho, asking him to meet her at a secret location. Without hesitation, Min-ho went to meet Kim, who had completely changed her appearance. Kim explained that she had cut her hair and altered her looks to avoid being recognized by the police. Kim had only come to give Min-ho Han's cards. She instructed him to change the details on them so that people would think Han was an imposter, diverting police attention from them. Min-ho followed her instructions, altered Han's card details, and burned his own. Later, when the police found the changed details during their investigation, they assumed Han was a fraud involved in illegal activities and that his disappearance was part of his scheme to evade the authorities. With this assumption, the case was closed, allowing Min-ho to relax. Focusing on his business, Min-ho's company began to grow rapidly and generate significant profits. Meanwhile, Han's father once again pleaded with the police to find his son, insisting that Han was not a fraud. He presented all of Han's old documents as proof and argued that if the evidence suggested otherwise, Han must be in danger. At Han's father's request, the police reopened the case and resumed their investigation, even searching the jungle at night. However, despite searching all night, they found no evidence. The next morning, when Han's father returned home, he saw his wife lying unconscious at the door, likely from exhaustion while waiting for Han. He carried her inside and, deeply saddened by her condition, began losing hope. The scene then shifted to the present, where Min-ho was seen sitting in front of his lawyer. He revealed that on the day Kim was murdered, Han's father was also present in the room, along with himself and Kim. He claimed that Han's father knocked him unconscious before killing Kim to avenge his son's death. The lawyer questioned why Han's father would involve him in the case. Min-ho explained that Han's father spared his life but sent him to jail to make him realize his mistakes. He further revealed that both Han's parents were involved. They called the police as soon as they left Han's father's room, leading to his arrest. After listening to the entire story, the lawyer stood up and said, "The story you told me is completely different. Now, I will tell you the real story." The narrative then shifted into a flashback, revealing that on the day of Han's accident, Min-ho, not Kim, was driving the car. The story he had fabricated to end his relationship was entirely false. That day, Min-ho was distracted while driving, causing the accident that led to Han's death. Kim was unharmed. Kim had wanted to call the police, but Min-ho stopped her, fearing that if the case became public, his reputation as a rising business tycoon would be ruined. Kim, however, did not care about his status. It was Min-ho who coerced her into keeping quiet. The plan to hide Han's body was entirely Min-ho's idea, and he executed it so cleverly that he remained uninvolved in the case while Kim took all the blame. Kim, devastated by Han's death, was forced into hiding as the police pursued her. She had to leave her job but couldn't bear the guilt of keeping the truth hidden. Finally, one day, Kim called Han's father and confessed everything. When Min-ho learned about this, he was furious. In his rage, he murdered Kim. Now, having committed 2 murders, Han's and Kim's, Min-ho was desperate to avoid getting caught. In the struggle, he was injured and fainted, after which he staged the entire act of being falsely accused of his friend's murder. As the lawyer narrated the real story, Min-ho sat in shock, his mouth wide open. He was astonished that the lawyer knew the full truth, even though he had never told anyone. The lawyer reassured him, saying, "Don't worry, Mr. Min-ho. I am still with you and ready to fight your case. But tell me, where did you hide Han and his car?" With no other option, Min-ho confessed that he had put Han's body in his car and drowned it in a lake. Then, in a painful revelation, he admitted that when he pushed the car into the water, Han was still alive and begging for his life. But Min-ho couldn't take the risk. If he had let Han go, he would have been charged with the case himself. So, he drowned Han alive. The lawyer was stunned. He had assumed Han had died in the accident and never imagined that Min-ho had deliberately killed him. Now, the lawyer realized the extent of Min-ho's cruelty. The lawyer then placed a map in front of him and instructed him to mark the location where he had disposed of Han's car. Min-ho complied, marking the spot. As soon as he did, the lawyer collected his belongings and prepared to leave. After collecting his belongings, he told Min-ho, "Mr. Min-ho, I cannot fight your case because you hid a very big truth from me, that the boy was alive when you hid him." Saying this, she left the house, started her car, and as soon as she drove off, her car's tire got stuck in a pit. Her car wouldn't move forward. The weather outside was so bad that if she had stayed outside, she might have died. Min-ho told her, "If you want, you can stay at my house." At this moment, the lawyer agreed and returned to the house. After returning, Min-ho noticed that the lawyer's signature did not match the real lawyer's. He was now confused, and here came a very interesting twist in the story. The woman who came was not a lawyer, but Han's mother. She had come to extract a confession from Min-ho to find out where he had hidden Han and Han's car. As soon as Min-ho realized this, he immediately attacked Han's mother. In the panic, both of them fell and became unconscious due to injuries on their heads. After a while, Han's mother regained consciousness. As soon as she did, she picked up a gun to defend herself. But Min-ho suddenly appeared again and took the bullet from Han's mother. He then called the police. As soon as the police arrived, they assumed that Han's mother had tried to kill Min-ho, and they arrested her. They put her in their car, but as soon as she sat down, she told the officers everything and presented Min-ho's confession. She also gave them the location where Min-ho had hidden Han's body, which she had extracted from him. Following her statement, the police reopened the investigation. Upon searching the location, they discovered Han's car along with his dead body. This proved that the real killer was none other than Min-ho. Min-ho, who was still alive, was arrested, and Han's mother was released. Min-ho's career was completely ruined. He was still in shock, realizing that two old people had outwitted him and taken their revenge. Not only did they get their son's location through him, but they also ensured he was sentenced to life in prison. In the end, Han's parents burst into tears as they saw their son's body. And with that, the story ends.